So the numbers that I just spoke about were, so that was customer acquisition cost and lifetime value. Now that's not brand new to you. I mentioned this on another episode a little while ago. But there are a couple of other numbers that I think you should be working on. And so I might run through those over a few different episodes because they're pretty in-depth. But let's have a bit of a look at some of them now, okay? Now, here's one that every single one of us can probably do something about. Average dollar sale, okay? So here's the funny thing about average dollar sale. Every business has one of these, right? For example, some people may come to you and they'll spend $50. Some people may spend 500, some people may spend 5,000, but somewhere in amongst all of your customers, there is an average, okay? So let's just use a bakery as an example because it's nice and easy. Some people, when they come to the bakery, they buy one chocolate eclair and they leave $2.10. Some people buy 6 chocolate eclairs and a fresh bread and then they leave, and some people do that and the milk, okay? But in amongst the 300 transactions I did today, the average might be $4.80, picking a figure, okay? So you need to know your number though. What is your average dollar sale? And then the only other time this may change is if you've got two very distinct parts to your business, okay? So for example, let's say you were in the business of swimming pools. Well, if you had one arm of your business selling and installing pools and another arm of your business testing pools, you wouldn't want to do those together because the numbers are unfair to each other. They will massively skew it, right? One's $50,000 for a one-off pool and one's $70, $70 just to do come and do a thing, whatever. So you would want to do those independently. If you have two very big extremes in your business, then you would want to measure those independently. But let's say you came up with an average of $60. Okay, let's just pick a nice round figure. So once we know the average dollar sale, then our goal is to drive it up. All right, the goal is always to take this number and drive it up. What does that mean? We need some strategies to take this $60 to $66, okay? If we could get our average dollar sale from $60 to $66, multiply that by the number of transactions you do in a year, it's 10% more revenue, of course, over the year. But I'm going to be teaching you strategies on how to do 10% increases in multiple areas to get a compounding effect. But just this area here, just this one strategy alone can be, like if you were to do 10% more revenue overnight by spending an hour or a day on some strategies, would that be a good thing? The answer is always yes. Let me give an example of how we worked with this. I worked in a retail store. When I say worked, I coached a retail store, like camping, outdoor type store. And they came to me, so this was like GFC, 2009-10, and they came to me and they said, hey, listen, retail's down. And I said, how much? And they said, the standard answer, 10%, right? I said, okay, great. And I said, what's your average dollar sale? And they said, we don't know, but we can pull it from our software. Great. They came back to me and it was like $65 or something. Average dollar sale across all their products. Some people buy a $1 widget, some people buy a $400 pair of climbing boots, but somewhere in there was a $60 average, 65. And so I said to them, so hang on a minute, what you're telling me is that if we can get $6.50, 10% of the average dollar sale, if we can get the average dollar sale up 10%, what you're telling me is you'll be back to where you were pre-GFC. Yeah, that'd be great. I said, great. We need to get $6.50 more per customer on average as they go through the till. So just to give you an idea, this is what we did. It was $65, so I wanted to get $6.50 more. So what we did was first of all, step number one was we trained the team, okay? So we trained the team to sell a higher, or to offer the customer in every circumstance a higher priced item. So when they came in, they said, I wanted to try these climbing boots for $150. We would say to them, hey, listen, there's a pair here for $170, $180, $190, whatever it was. We'd love you to try them on 2 just to compare. Some people say yes, some people don't, okay? We trained the team to, when somebody says, I'm looking for a tent, then we trained the team to go, well, if you're looking for a tent, you're probably also looking for some other complementary items. Is that correct? Oh, yeah. So let me take you to the torch and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? And so we were getting bigger average dollar sales by not only selling a higher priced item, but sometimes doing an add-on sale, okay? So the second thing we did was we came up with some bundle products. So we came up and did some bundles. That doesn't look like a good spelling to me. But anyway, let's not a spelling show. So we did some bundles, all right? And I've completely lost my team here. And so...
It's a suburb.
Yeah. Isn't the suburb double L though? I don't know. So we trained the team to do, so not only to sell an up-priced item, but to have a bundle. If you buy this, people usually buy this. And then the third thing we did was we put some throwaway items, okay, at the counter of this business. So as you walked up to buy your products, as you walked up, there were these bins, 2 or 3 bins as you lead up to the counter. And the bins had the, the water bottle in it for $12. The next bin had a, whatever, something in it for $7. The next thing had something in it for $5. And then when you got to the counter, there were a couple of little trinkets on the counter that we sold for $1, $2, $3, $4. And so what we did was every single time somebody came through the cash register, the salesperson said, oh, hey, listen, we've got these great torches on sale and I can just grab one and put it through for you now. And not everybody says yes. This is the thing. Not everybody says yes, but some people do, right? And so they would just every single time somebody came through, then we would do. And we had the data to be able to know how many people bought one item, how many people bought 2. We could check the performance of the salesperson, and so forth. All right. Now the cool part about it was those trinkets that were in those bins. What we actually did was we went to the suppliers and said, "Hey guys, what have you got that you're not able to sell?" And they came back and said, we've got these things here that we down the back of the factory. We said, great, we're going to pay next to nothing for them, but we'll take them off your hands, okay? Or in fact, I think with even some, we went back to them and said, hey, listen, you can't move them. You've had them for ages. We can't promise we move them. Give them to us on consignment and we'll see if we can sell them. So these companies let us have all this stock for free. And as we sold it, we ended up paying back this company, which means we had no stock holding, which meant it was more margin, all right? So for this company, what that meant, just making those 3 changes, what it meant for them was they increased their average dollar sale by just a little bit over 10% just by making those 3 changes, right? Just by spending some time training the team, making sure they bundle products together and having some throwaway products right at the very end to catch that transaction on the way out. But how does this play out to your business? Well, let me ask you, right? Have you done the when people buy this, they also buy this? Right, the online world do this incredibly well. When you go to buy a product, just before you're about to push buy, it says people that buy this also buy this. Would you like it? Throw it in the cart right at the very end. Have you thought about that in your business? Should you just do a straight up price rise? Should you do some bundling? And do you need to train some people so that you can get this consistently? Because if you were to be 10% more revenue at the end of 1 year just by making these slight changes, then sometimes that's the differentiator, between break even and profit. Right? So it's always a very good idea. You need to always be chasing revenue. I've just got a question come through here, which is a good one. How do you increase average dollar sale in a professional services business where typically there are no actual products, just services that have been requested? Yeah, typically you can still bundle, okay? So it's like if they came for you for this maintenance package, how do you add on something else? And it could be something that they are already buying that you don't do. It could be something that they're not even aware that you do, right? So, for example, like speaking about a law firm, insurance firm, typically this company I was working with, somebody calls up and says, I want some car insurance. They would say, yes, no worries, here's the price. Would you like to go ahead? Yes, done. I said to them, that's crazy because most people don't even know that you offer dog insurance and pet insurance and trauma and all this stuff. So literally, we just changed the script on the phone to be, by the way, can I ask you a couple of questions? Do you also have this? Do you also have this? Do you also have this? I'd love to be able to quote you for more services on the spot. And then people said yes. Okay, so that's a service-based business, not a product per se. And then maybe here's an interesting point. Maybe you should productize. I think one of the things that's smart in 2019 is services businesses also need products and products business also need services, right? Because then you can completely double dip on your revenue. So maybe there is a product that you can use as an upsell that you can make some margin on. If your customers are already buying something, why wouldn't you be the source of that? You're solving a bigger problem for your customer. And when you solve a bigger problem, you get paid more money, all right? But I'd just be looking at other services you could offer in, other services that are complementary to the ones you've got that you could go into. Here's an interesting concept. One of the things that I do is I find services that my clients are already buying, and I go and do joint venture splits with those people where I might get paid for referring them on. So they come to me and they say, you know, they buy X off me, I sell them X and Y, they deliver the service, and I get a commission, which when added to my revenue is basically a higher average sale. So there's a few little things for you to chew on, Daryl. I think I'll go through a few of the other critical numbers on subsequent shows, and you'll see, and then I might just tie them all together at the end with the compounding effect. Because if you get more leads and you work on your margin and you work on your average dollar sale and you work on your conversion rates, you know, 10% increase actually explodes your business over time. And if you can continue to be working on them, you get 100 to 150% increases. That's $100,000 going to, you know, $250,000 businesses. Okay, just by knowing the numbers and working on each individual strategy. But that's the average dollar sale. You need to find a way to get your average dollar sale up by a minimum of 10%, probably by starting with 1, 2, or 3 of those areas.